Hey Colton, have you seen Inception?
I have now.
Was it everything you dreamed of?
Oh God.
Hey everybody, this is I Don't Watch Movies. Welcome to episode 9. Is it episode 9? 7? 8?
Thought it was 8.
Eight.
It's 8. Okay, it's 8. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. But yeah, welcome to episode 8. I'm joined with Seth and Colton.
Hello.
What up?
And this week we are watching or reviewing Inception. So just beware, spoilers ahead. But before we
This
get
movie
started,
came out
If you can
13 years
understand
ago.
them.
it doesn't listen. It doesn't matter. Spoilers are good for there are young people that are just turned 15, 16 years old, and
No,
maybe
they're
they're
too
looking for
they're
good
too
movies.
busy watching TikTok where it's like Subway Surfer on the bottom and like some cooking show up top.
Yeah,
They're,
that's the only
they're
way.
not sitting down watching movies.
I was thinking
That's how we should like put our shorts. It's we should have Subway Surfer on the bottom and then our faces up top, and then also like a cooking video to the other side. Like they get crazy. And then you
Yeah.
gotta throw in the kinetic sand where they're like scooping it with a spoon. Have you seen those?
oh my gosh.
Human attention span is just at an all-time low.
It
It's
shrunk.
insane. Because I
Man.
make fun of it, but then I'm like, then I catch myself because I'm like listening to whatever they're talking about, and then I'm watching this sand, and I'm like, man,
You know
I
what's
thought
really
I was
bad?
smarter than this.
It's really bad when like you're watching one and then all of a sudden it's like Subway Surfer. I don't know why. That's the only one that I can think of. But it's
That's
like
a common one.
your thumb starts to twitch because you're
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
do the movements along with the video. Caleb, I know you don't get this because
Nope,
you're
I
not
don't
on
get it.
TikTok.
It's just like,
But
oh,
trust me,
Yeah.
it's something. It's wild. It's like
It
every other
really
clip.
is.
that's awesome. That's
It's like the mobile game ads where they play it
Oh my
so
gosh.
horribly,
Yeah.
and then you're like, I'm just gonna download this to show them how it's done.
yeah.
I
and then,
did
and then the
Makes
game
me
is nothing.
so mad.
I did see, I'm not gonna lie, I saw an ad for a mobile game that almost made me download the game.
Oh,
And it was started out and it was this guy. He's like, all right, welcome back to part 2 of games to play on the toilet. And like that's how it started. And I was
That's
like, you know
great.
what? You almost had me. I
Yeah, you're
almost
like, I need
downloaded
this.
it.
I need
That's
games
great.
to play on the
But
toilet.
this actually brings up something that I want to talk about. So Seth, you're on TikTok because you're younger than all of us.
Yeah.
But have you seen where like there's just random spam accounts that are just uploading movies into like 15 parts?
Yes, I have seen
Yeah,
that.
it's becoming a trend. I think that's
Or they'll like do a live on TikTok and just point their phone at the movie.
yeah,
So,
that's how I
like,
watched the last UFC fight. I just happened to like see someone
that's-
streaming it.
That's how I would stream games that I couldn't get where in my region or whatever. Like if I wanted to watch a game from New York or whatever, and I'm in California and I couldn't watch it, then I would stream it. And it would be
Yeah.
people that would be streaming something else, but they would really be like putting it on
Yeah.
the game. And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
all right, well,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I on YouTube they were doing that like when YouTube was really young. People were putting clips on, and they would make a whole playlist, and then you would just watch the movie via playlist. And then now they're just putting full movies on YouTube that are
Yeah.
free to watch, and then there are others that you can rent and buy and all that stuff. I think that's how
Yeah.
you've been watching some of these, Colton.
I can't remember which one it was. I did watch one of them though on YouTube because we
Right
have YouTube TV. So that, I mean, it's easy for us to like just rent something there, but I mean, most of them I've been watching on Amazon, and I watched Inception on Amazon too.
Right on,
Yeah.
right on. So did you have the X-ray on?
It did have the X-ray. on.
Yeah, so we're gonna be getting
Yes.
some behind the scenes stuff.
I was so mad because every time I open HBO Max, Inception is always on there,
Yeah.
but it was not this time. So I had to pay $3. It made me very mad.
Like a peasant, you had to pay $3.
No, it made me
like a
mad because
peasant?
every time I don't want to watch it,
oh
it's on
my
there.
God.
and then
That's
as
great.
soon as I need it, it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
so
Scandal.
mad about it.
I
scandal.
I looked on HBO and I was like, how do I not have it? And then I was like looking on like Vudu and all these other places like where you put your own stuff on there,
Yeah.
like you buy a movie and then you upload it. And
Mhm.
I was shocked. I was like, how do I not have this? Oh my gosh, how am I gonna watch this? And then I realized, oh, I have it on Blu-ray. So
Oh
I
yeah.
dusted off my Blu-ray player, like
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
busted
like,
out the 8-track and
Yeah.
decided
I
to put it in.
Because
Oh,
now
so
it's
Seth,
like
an
if it's not
8-track
digital.
Seth, an 8-track,
my-
it used to
I'm
be
not
like a way
stupid.
you would play.
I was
No.
born in the dark, but it wasn't last night, Colton.
Oh, with the dad jokes. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it.
So I know we're about to get into the movie, but there's one thing we need to address again.
Oh, let's address it.
I suck. Okay. I'm
Oh.
just going to say it.
Oh,
I suck because we didn't
Well,
release an
somebody
episode
had to
again
say
last week, and it's my fault. I've been extremely busy. Some other things have happened. And so I just want to say I'm sorry, but hopefully moving forward, we have regular weekly episodes again.
be great.
So my
Yeah.
apologies. My
That'd be
apologies.
great.
well, you know, the smooth brains are going
How
to
do we
forgive you.
move Seth out of this call, actually?
Remove.
Remove.
I think the smooth brains are going to be okay with that, but I don't know if
Oh,
it's
they don't
Seth.
have the
Yeah.
emotional intelligence
No.
to be
They don't have
upset.
the they don't have the object permanence. They've already
And-
forgotten
Yeah.
about us, Colton. Come
Yeah.
on.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say they're fine with us doing this right now, saying how stupid they are because they don't even know.
love
we
you,
love you,
smooth
smooth brains.
I love you, smooth
Oh,
brains.
we love
Smooth
you.
brains unite.
Seth may not, but I love you.
Never said that.
Don't love that. But
Hate that.
so one last thing before we jump in.
All right.
I was coming on. And I was gonna ask Colton, and this can be
Uh-oh.
a quick thing, but
Okay.
since we've started, we've watched
Okay.
some great films. Watched
Yeah.
comedies, musicals, drama,
Mhm. Mhm.
action, everything in between. Have you had any kind of like change of heart? Have you watched a movie on your own that we haven't suggested that you were just like, hey, I'm going to watch this movie?
Okay, so let me break this down into two parts. Change of heart, yes.
Nice.
However, I still have not willingly sat down and watched a movie that was not recommended. So
That's
what I
okay.
mean, what I mean by that is
You're
like,
halfway there. You're halfway there.
yeah, what I mean by that is like I enjoy watching a movie for like this. I
Yeah.
enjoy because like it's become a great hobby of ours, and so like I really enjoy it. However, I still have to find, and that was the problem we faced last week, you know, because I've been so busy. Like I have to find time to cut out 2.5 hours in this case
Right.
to
Mhm.
be able to watch a movie. And so I do enjoy watching the movies now, but I still don't like willingly go look for a movie.
Mhm.
I
Well,
do, however, there was for the last 2 weeks, there was a piece of media, and it kind of brought me back a little bit where like I made sure I was sitting down at 9 o'clock to watch it. And this is something that we talked about, I think like very first or second episode. Seth made the joke about how I have a lot of famous friends.
Yep.
Well, I had a friend who was on the Easter baking challenge on Food Network.
Oh wow.
And so I sat down and I watched the Easter baking challenge for 2 weeks because she was on it. And so
Oh,
shout out to
wow.
Rachel over.
how'd she do?
I watched it for 2 weeks. It's still going.
Oh.
Because she got voted out the second week.
Oh,
So,
bummer.
I do think though, to me, this is kind of dog. Okay. I don't like this, but the way you found out if you won or not was you like, or if like you moved on, is they bake little Easter eggs and the inside is either green or red. And then you take a bite out of it.
what
and
in
it's
the
either
gender
green-
reveal is this?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I hate that.
And so instead of being like, you know, sorry, you didn't make it to next week, you have to like eat like a Easter egg.
Yeah.
And it's so
You have
over
to
the
eat it?
top.
They don't
Yeah,
just
you
like
have to-
cut it.
No, you have to eat it. Like they line up and
What
you
is
take a bite
that?
out of it.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ugh.
Maybe
like
I can
that.
talk to Rachel and I can ask her
Ugh.
if she'll come on, because that would
Yeah,
be
that'd
cool
be
to kind
great.
of like talk about the
Yeah.
behind the scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
That would be neat.
I know.
Yeah,
I was-
She's I know. Shout out to Rachel. She's
Yeah,
now
shout
in
out to
the
Rachel.
League of Extraordinary Colton friends.
Yeah, when I used to have my business, and like do my crafty stuff. Rachel and her cousin own a shop in Memphis, and they were the first ones to ever let me do a pop-up shop. That was
Ah,
my
nice.
first ever
That's
event was
awesome.
there. So yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool to see her. And so shout out to Rachel.
So I have more questions, but we'll just move on.
About the
I
Easter
want
Bake Off challenge.
no, not of the Bake Off
Oh.
challenge of like movies and television and stuff. But
Okay.
we'll last question. Okay, last question.
Okay.
It
All
will
right.
be,
All right.
have you seen or thought of a movie from like way back when that you have like thought about thinking about maybe watching, like, oh man, yeah, I saw a trailer for I can't even think of a recent movie, like Captain America. Like, oh yeah, I saw a trailer for that. Maybe I'll watch that now. Or like, is there a poll at all for you to watch movies or anything?
No.
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 Hope to change
There-
that.
It has to
There
have
is-
a purpose.
there is one movie that I think I do want to see.
Cocaine Bear.
No, it's not Cocaine Bear.
I have seen
No.
that though.
It's
Did
not
you?
Cocaine Bear.
Oh,
I did.
No, it's the Mario movie that's coming out
yeah.
soon.
I do.
think
I do want to see that.
yeah, I think I want to see it just because I want to figure out how Chris Pratt does Mario, because
That's everybody's question, man.
that's everyone's question. But I did see a second trailer for it, and I do think it looked good. So
Oh, okay.
I might go see that with Gina. It
Oh,
depends on. I
wow.
think it comes out in May.
You're gonna go
though.
to the
Yeah.
movie theater to go see that
I
movie.
might.
It comes out.
yeah.
I thought it was April. Was it early April?
I don't know. We'll
I'll
have
look
to
it
look
up.
it up.
Well,
All
let
right,
me-
we'll have to look it up. But yeah, I think that would be cool to go see because like I grew up playing, Mario 64 and stuff like that. So I think that would be fun.
Let's
Dude,
see.
if you do, we're gonna need photo evidence.
Mhm.
Maybe
post it.
Seth and I will join you, or we'll
Yeah.
like sit
It's-
in the back.
oh,
and
it's
we're like,
opening
"Is he
April
enjoying
5th.
it?"
So it's coming up soon, April 5th.
April 5th.
April 5th on a
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're releasing it like pretty
That's
early.
the day after my birthday.
Well,
So maybe as like
there
a
you
birthday
go.
gift,
Go
we'll
for your
go.
birthday.
Nice.
Midnight release. No shot. I'm in
No.
bed by like 8:30 every night.
Well, now they don't do that. Now they just do it at like 5 o'clock the day before.
Oh,
So you don't have to go
gosh.
at midnight anymore. You can see it at like 7 o'clock on a Thursday.
Well, that's perfect. Because
Yeah.
Pawpaw's tired all the time. So we're
Yeah. We got to get you to bed, Paw.
yeah, got to get me to bed.
Got to take your
Okay.
medicine.
Okay,
Now
let's
it's
jump
getting
in.
Personal.
You guys, all right? You guys ready to jump in?
Yep.
Yes.
Ready.
All right, give us that little intro, Colton. Tell us about the movie.
All right. So Inception came out in 2010.
Yes.
And this is the description for the movie, which I thought was interesting. A thief who steals corporate secrets through the use of dream sharing technology is given the inverse task of planting an idea into the mind of a CEO, but his tragic past may doom the project and his team to disaster. So it was directed by Christopher Nolan, written by Christopher Nolan, stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Elliot Page. So, are we ready
Yes.
to break it down?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Give us your thoughts.
I think I said it in previous episodes. This movie, I was avoiding it for as long as I could, but I wanted
Yeah.
Caleb
Wait,
to
it
give
just
me
came up
something
every
other.
week.
Wait,
I
why?
wanted Caleb to give me something other because I knew from what I knew about this movie is it was a mind twister. That's what I knew about this movie. Smooth brains don't handle that very well. So we were trying to figure out, collectively, we all gathered and we were like, how are we going to watch this and how are we going to understand it? I want to say off the bat, it was not as bad as I thought it would be. Meaning it's not as much of like a mind game as you kind of think that it would be, except for a part at the end, which I'll talk about.
Okay.
So it starts out with Leonardo laying on a beach watching two children play. First thought, this is the sequel to Titanic.
Yeah,
He
dude,
washes up on shore.
You have no idea how many people have done that. They've taken
This is it.
Dude, they took that and they made a trailer for Titanic 2. You can find it on YouTube. It's amazing.
Titanic 2, The Repair.
Yeah.
Electric
That's what-
Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo. This is the sequel to Titanic, and you can't convince me otherwise.
That's awesome.
My other theory is that this is somehow Titanic is going to end up being a dream, and then he awakes from that, and we realize Leonardo DiCaprio has just been a figment of our imagination.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's not the sequel to Titanic, but that was my very first thought in this.
That's
I'm
entire-
pretty
awesome.
sure he like died in Titanic. Jack did.
Well,
He tried to like shake him.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You're gonna die in a warm bed, have lots of babies." He gave that speech and then he died.
I guess I don't remember what you're talking about.
Oh, well, I've watched it very recently, so it's
Okay.
fresh on my mind.
Got it. All right. So after the, he's on the beach and stuff, we enter into like a private room, and there's an elderly man sitting across from him. And I thought, because smooth brain, I'm trying to form one wrinkle. I was like, is this the man that he was going to kill? Is this himself? Like, is this somehow like a himself, and he's trying to confront
A Looper situation.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later towards the end. So at this point, this is where I started getting a little confused, because we go from that into there's riots in the street. I'm like, how do these line up? Doesn't really make sense to me. And then I said, okay, he's in a dream simulation, because we saw that he was connected to the machines and stuff like that, which I want to talk about these machines for a second. Having to watch, the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they show it, it's just a little white wristband with like one tube. They don't show like an IV or, like a nose, cone or anything.
Right.
So is this just like, and every time they push the button, it just kind of sounds like oxygen releasing. So is this just like injecting into their wrist? Like, how does this machine work?
See, I took it as like a IV thing, but like kind of a version that would be like easier to put in. So like not the full thing, but like the white band would be like what the needle, like what the needle is in, and then it like adheres it to you.
Mm.
So like I saw it as like an IV, but just one that's a little like quick to put in.
I mean, probably that's reading a little, deep into what it actually is, but it was interesting to me because every time they showed it, it was just like an elastic waistband type
And
thing.
they just take it off. They're
And they
like,
just
woo, woo.
rip it off,
It's
and they're
not
like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm done. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's anyways, that's where my mind went.
No,
So-
that's great.
Then it goes from the riots in the street, and then you realize, okay, he's in a dream, because it cuts back to him in the dream. So then we meet Mal for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm like, oh, right away I'm like, is this woman protagonist his wife? And I'm proud of myself
Look at
because I
you.
got
There you
that
go.
right off the bat.
Nice job.
I mean, kudos to me. Please clap.
Listen,
You guys aren't
you
clapping.
you might
Please
have
clap.
2 wrinkles in that brain now.
I know.
Whoa.
So proud
Guys,
of
we
you.
should end here. We should end here.
And this is the end of the podcast. Thanks for listening.
Thanks everyone for listening this week. All right. So what I thought was really interesting is there's a line here where she says, judging by the decor, we're in your mind, right, Arthur? Which means this is how we know we're in
Sidekick.
the sidekick's brain, because he likes this architecture or something like that, because we later learned that there's 2 people involved in each one of these things. There can be a team, but there needs to be at least 2. There's the architect, and then there's the other person.
Mhm.
And so the architect has created this, and so he must like this architecture, so on and so forth. But
That's a style.
yeah, they're fighting, and this was really impressive to me this next scene when they go out into the stairwell, and this is when he gets the kick or he's like pushed back into the tub.
Yep.
Is you see the water coming in, like blasting in the top of this room or whatever.
Yeah.
And my thought was like, this must have been a really expensive set cost.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I could only imagine.
It's Christopher Nolan. Of course, it's going to be huge set pieces.
Yeah.
I love that you are thinking that way now. Because you're not just thinking of like what's going on in the movie. You're
trust me,
of,
don't
like,
get ahead of yourself.
Dude, I love it though. That's great.
Trust
also,
me.
So
it's only downhill from here.
So think about this. They wanted in that first dream, in Arthur's dream, they wanted to get caught in that whole scenario. Because they were trying to trick him, they were trying to like figure out where all his stuff is, so that when they woke up, he was like, "Oh, that's the dream," because they went from dream to dream, and so it was okay.
What?
Oh, it's just rain. I thought maybe you could hear it too.
Oh,
but I'm explaining the movie.
I know. Just saying.
No. It's the. I thought I heard you make a noise too, and I was like, "What is that?"
I love how no one addressed it.
I'm just
I was like,
"Is
Winston?" I thought Winston was doing something. I was like,
No.
What are you doing over there?
But anyway, so the way that, because they had done a multi-layered dream, which is obviously a rarity in this world, in this universe, and so for them to get caught, and then like they're trying to trick him, and they're like, he's like, "Oh man, we're in this love nest place, whatever." And it isn't until he falls down and he's like, "This isn't my rug." But it was like a trick. It was like a backup, so that if they couldn't get all the information, which he only got some of the information in that first dream, but then he got the kick and woke up. They were like, "Okay, this is a backdrop, so we're gonna go dream within a dream, and then we're gonna do a backdrop." So
yeah. So this leads to my next point. So because then they were on a train. Right. And I was like, okay, so this is a dream, like within a dream. And I was like, all of a sudden they're on a train and they awake and they take off the little elastic band that somehow makes them all fall asleep. And, it's perfectly fine. But I'm going to preface the rest of this episode with, I don't think I'm going to watch with X-ray on anymore.
Oh, why? What's up?
Because it points out errors.
Every single
error. And
they
if
don't
you watch it,
they don't just say fun facts. They say like goofs.
Like it'll say like goofs, and then it'll tell you what category of goofs they are.
That's
whether
so
it's like
stupid.
A continuity or with like something in the screen, yada yada. So this is the first one, and there's a bunch in here, and I'll talk about it more at the end. But so the first error, he says he's going to get off at Kyoto, but when the next scene, when he's in the hotel room, he's in Japan, because you can see the tower in Japan.
Yeah.
That's like 200 miles away from each other.
Oh, you mean Tokyo?
No,
Is he in Tokyo?
It just says he says he's getting off at Kyoto.
Kyoto, right?
Yeah.
But then he's in Japan afterwards.
But Kyoto is, if I'm not mistaken, Kyoto is in Japan, right?
All right. Hold on. We're doing.
Do you mean he's in a different city?
Live lookup.
It is a city in Japan. Okay, so maybe what I mean is just like that's 200 miles away from each other.
The two cities are.
Yeah.
So he's like in a different. It shows a different city than he's in.
Right.
Correct. That's what.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like I said, not a lot going up here, guys. We're just I'm telling you what Amazon said. Okay.
I just wanted
Amazon was wrong.
I wasn't trying to be like a stickler or anything. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding what you were saying.
All right. Well, here's
because I was like, wait, that's still Japan.
I got 2 more errors in a row. So here we go. The next one is when he arrives, it's dark. He comes in and they say, "Hey, the ride is waiting on top of the hotel." And they say, "Okay." When he goes out to go catch the ride, it's daytime.
Yeah.
Oh.
Here's the next error.
Oh man.
Okay?
Good
it's
grief.
It's like boom, 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 boom.
You can't watch it with that anymore.
I was gonna say, was it extremely distracting?
I'm gonna talk about it at the
Okay.
end.
It sounds like it.
I promise. I'm gonna
It
talk
sounds
about
like
it at the end.
how would you even watch the movie with that?
Hold on, I'm gonna talk about it at the end. Okay. The next error is when it shows the shot. There actually, okay, I'm just gonna say there was a lot of errors in this scene. Apparently, like this whole sequence, there was a lot of errors. But I'll say it now. I'm not gonna count the errors against my score because I don't want to watch it with this anymore because I realize I focus too much on the errors than the actual story, which I'll actually talk about in a minute as well. So the next error.
Hang on. So before you get on to the next error, do you think that you would have noticed these errors unless you know if yeah. See,
not these ones. I would have. There is two that I would have noticed.
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't have noticed these ones if it wasn't pointed out for me. So the next one is when they show the guy in the helicopter. There's a bunch of rain on the window, but no other shot shows rain.
Yeah.
And so that there was so many errors in this little sequence. Like when they land at the airport, they say they're going somewhere, but the airport they're actually at is in England, which is like 4,000 miles away or something like that.
Yeah.
And so there's like a bunch of things like that. But like I said, I'm not counting it against.
Sure. I mean, and it could also be a lot of time jumping. So like he's in the hotel, he talks to his kids, I believe, right? At that point, he's talking to his kids, and then it jumps to the next one. Arthur comes and he's like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And they're like going up to the roof. So it could be time jumps and not so many errors. It's just like constant time jumps from here. So I don't know. But this whole time you are learning stuff about him. Do you think that you were learning stuff about him? Were you able to track along with that, or were you too focused on the errors?
No. So I was able to track along. But the errors were like, because I had the x-ray thing pulled up, the errors were kind of distracting. And so it was a little bit more, I don't want to say it was difficult, but it didn't make for a better experience. So I did actually turn it off for a lot of the movie. So talking about the next scene. So, once again, I think there's another scene where Mal is involved, and I'm like, okay, so Mal was the wife. We learned that in this time period as well. And then he starts to go assemble his team, right? So he goes to see Eames, which is, the thief, or
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Yeah.
Freaking love Tom Hardy.
Yeah. Then he goes to the chemist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And so I've been having a lot of problems sleeping lately. So I've been taking melatonin every night before I go to bed.
You're like, this is my man.
Were you like the 12 old people in the circle in the basement?
I'm like the 12 old people. And my note is literally, is the compound that the chemist making just melatonin?
It's like, souped up melatonin.
It's just souped up melatonin. And it's so funny because it just made me giggle thinking about it. But awesome. Like I'm the old man who wakes up and he's like, who are you to say what is my reality? And I'm like, that's literally me waking up in the morning, because I'm like, I don't know if this is real or not.
Can I tell you, I made a note that I was like, because I'm watching it though, and I'm thinking the whole time, like, man, Colton loves to sleep, man. He goes to bed early. Like,
it's bad. It's so bad. I mean, you guys know, like when I walk into the office, I don't say nothing to anyone because I'm not awake until 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Until 10 o'clock, you very rarely hear a beep out of me, especially when we would travel. Forget it.
I try to keep our conversations to a minimum in the morning. I'm like, I don't know honestly what I'm going to get this morning. So honestly, I'll just steer clear until he wakes up.
For the best. But what I have been doing, and it's for the best. But what I am trying to be better, because I'm trying to train myself to get less sleep and still function, because the baby's coming. And so like I'm trying to like wean myself off. It's not working very well. But,
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. All right.
You're gonna have to have some caffeine.
Yeah. So we don't have to talk about the amount of caffeine that I consume a day. It's unhealthy. But anyways, so as they're formulating, the dream, so they've assembled the team at this point, and they start formulating the dream. We realize that the reason why he can't go back home to see the kids is because they think that he killed the wife, which is a huge like plot twist later in the movie. And they're once again, they're formulating the dream. They're talking about all the different aspects, the layers that they're going through. And this is probably one of my top 2 lines out of this entire movie. Because they turn to the guy, and the guy's like, the business owner is what I'll call him, because I can't remember his name, but he goes, oh, I'm not going to be a tourist in this dream. Like, I'm going to be part of this dream, right? He's like, okay, well, we're going to have to buy the first class section. He's like, I just bought the airline.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it would be easier.
Yeah, I thought it would be simpler.
I bet I know your second favorite line.
Okay, you probably do.
I bet I know what it is. Oh, so is it Tom Hardy? Is it Tom Hardy who says it?
No. It's not. It's not. So, okay, so that's just such a baller thing to do. And this reminds me, it's not in your guys' world whatsoever. But like I said this before, I love like watching video game streamers and like things like that. And there was a clip. Do you guys know who Ninja is?
Yes, I'm familiar.
Okay.
I haven't watched Ninja, but I know.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So he was this massive streamer. I mean, like he I think was the face of like video game streaming for a long time. Like he truly popularized it. And he went on Jimmy Kimmel, he went on Fallon, like he grew, his brand was huge. He has this really famous clip where someone kills him in a game, and the kid like starts making fun of him, and he's like, dude, I will literally, it's really nerdy. He left his streaming platform, went to another streaming platform for like $30 million. 9 months later, that streaming platform tanked, and he still got all $30 million. Ooh. So for like 30 mil, he did 9 months of work. And it was like crazy. So this kid kills him, and he's making fun of him. And the kid, he literally like listens, he talks to the kid and goes, dude, I could literally buy the bank that your parents have their mortgage through and foreclose your house. And like that reminded me of this. Yeah. And I was like, that would be such a baller thing to do. It's just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna buy the airline.
How do you come back from that?
You can't.
Yeah.
That's
what a weirdo.
Yeah.
That was like I got killed in a game one time, and this like 6-year-old kid called me hot dog water, and I haven't been able to play since, because I'm just so afraid I'm gonna get called hot dog water by a 6-year-old. Like I'm not gonna have someone the same age as Seth like bully me, like I'm a grown man with a mortgage. Like you're not gonna talk to me like that.
That's somebody's daddy there.
Yeah.
I was funny.
Hot dog water? What a great! That's such.
I don't know, but I was so offended by it. I took my
HD Nobia.
Yeah, I took my headphones. I took my headphones off, and Gina goes, "Are you having fun?" And I was like, "No, a 6-year-old just called me hot dog water."
I love this story. I love this story.
I don't want to talk about it. It's my past trauma. I don't want to talk about it. Okay.
So when you sleep, do you have that little 6-year-old following you around?
No, I don't. I don't.
That's his sleep paralysis demon.
That's
the kid stands in the corner and calls him hot dog water.
That's a subconscious.
I haven't been able to look at a Nathan's hot dog the same way.
Yeah, no.
Ever since.
That little kid is his mall in his dreams.
So I'm sure people listening to this episode are going to think the same thing for my next point.
Uh-oh.
But I got an hour in and I checked to see what time. And I was like, there's an hour and a half still left in this movie. I'm like, I feel like I've already gone on through such a journey. I'm like, how is there an hour and a half left?
So something that you didn't that you haven't mentioned yet is that they're going to do Inception. The whole mission is to do Inception, and no one has done Inception before. Like they've talked about it, it's a theory, and everybody's like, no, it can't be done, it can't be done, can't be done. And for whatever reason, he's like, yes, it can be done.
Yeah.
I know it can be done. I know it can be done. And so that's like tracking along the whole time too. So he's leading this mission.
Yeah, because that's one of my, and I've got a little fun fact that X-Ray actually did. This was a good one from X-Ray, but did you know that this movie was talked about being made in 3D at one point?
No, but that would make sense with all the world building.
Yeah, the water and like all the world falling apart and stuff. Christopher Nolan fought back against it because he said that it would take away from the Inception that people will feel when watching the movie.
Nice. Good job, Mr.
It would have, I think it would have been, I think he's right. I mean, it would have been so distracting if it was in 3D.
Well, I don't know. It depends though. Like,
I think
sometimes with the 3D that of that time was more about just depth. It wasn't like the paddle ball like coming out at you. It was more just about like whatever it was, it just created depth. So it took you more in it. Kind of like Avatar or any of the like action movies of the time.
But
here we go.
Avatar.
but I feel like it was more of a gimmick at that time. I don't think that it was as developed, and I don't think that they were ready to film like as in depth. The reason why it works with Avatar is because they're going to put CG on them anyway and do like some really crazy CG worlds and everything.
Yeah.
And if you look at the CG for that, watching it in like a 2D world, I mean, it looks good, but it looks fake. It looks like CG. Whereas when you watch Inception, its special effects still hold up to today. Like I was watching it, I'm like, man, this quality is amazing. Like these special effects. You don't think so? What don't you think was good?
So I agree with you. I agree with you 95%.
Okay.
The 5% that I don't think it holds up is the scene where Adriana, right? Is that her name?
Yep.
Yeah.
So is it Ariadne?
Ariadne.
Just call her
because she was named after.
Yeah.
Let me look it up.
So the girl, the young student who ends up becoming the architect.
Yeah.
In the scene where she's losing control and they're at the cafe, right? And all the stuff starts to exploding. Like some of that you can tell is like very animated, like graphic effects, you know. You can see it, like especially with like the fruit boxes, because I picked up on that. I'm like, that you can see is like very, very, and I think you're right in that around this time I think that would have kind of been used a little gimmicky, where like they would have thrown like tomatoes or something out at the screen, and you know, that I think it definitely would have turned me away. I think, or not turned me away, but it would have turned me off from, you know,
it would have taken you out of the movie. It would have 100% taken you out of the movie instead of immerse you into it. And I feel like when a studio is like, hey, we're going to make this 3D movie, they're going to be like, we got to do all the we got to do whatever. And that's like you said, tomatoes or fruit or something like coming out. Whoa.
This it would have been like the Spy Kids 3D movie where it's like, whoa, and he like grabs.
Let me grab that. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, Avatar Way of Water was great in 3D.
Oh my god.
It was great in 3D.
All right,
Y'all aren't at our office, but all he does is talk about Avatar.
I mean, apparently other people like
paint
it
yourself
it
blue and go to
broke
Disney.
records.
Come on.
Like it's the third or fourth highest grossing movie of all time now.
Now
somebody has to like it.
Is it by sales or is it by cost? Because these ticket prices have gone up quite a lot in the past however many years.
There's a reason why our streaming services keep going up.
Yeah.
Thanks, Avatar.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
I did see somewhere where they want to put I think they had talked about putting a 9-hour cut on Disney Plus.
I heard
that
the
would
same
be
thing.
miserable.
So you could watch all of it. Yeah.
I'd have to take a week off of work just to be able to watch 9 hours of that, because I'd be pausing it every 30 minutes.
I'm gonna be honest. I would probably try to take a Saturday and watch the 9-hour cut. I think it'd be awesome.
Have you ever done Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3 back to back to back extended editions? Like
I haven't done Lord of the Rings, but
I
I've
know
done
you're
all the
not
Star
asking
Wars.
me that question.
No, I wasn't. No. This is just for
Nope.
Seth. So
No,
Anyway,
I've done all 6 Star Wars in one day.
okay.
Which is like similar.
Yeah.
It's not extended Lord of the Rings.
No. But okay, continue
All
on.
right. So
I was gonna say that the one
I'll
part
continue
for
on,
me
I guess.
is sorry, when they're walking down and they come to the street that's up and they like step to it, there's like a little bit of a weird turn there.
Yeah.
And that one always stands out to me. And it's still to this day, it's still good. It's not perfect. But then like when the city folds in on itself, that looks amazing. Like every time I see it, I'm like, holy crap. And then there are just a couple of other shots in there where I'm just like, oh man, I have no idea how they do this. Like this is incredible work. And
the shot of the city folding was like everywhere in 2010.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't turn your head without seeing the city folding over itself.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even see this movie, and like I remember around this time, like I remember seeing this scene all over the place. Yeah.
Especially from that time, it's such a cultural osmosis movie, because that was really like probably. I'm trying to think of what else came out that year, but that was one of the biggest movies of that year. That like shaped the culture. Like everybody was talking about it.
Yeah. I think it really set the SpongeBob movie on a path to really. Just kidding. I don't know when that came out.
The inspiration was getting.
I think that came out before Inception.
I think you're right.
Depending on which SpongeBob movie.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's
okay,
great.
so in talking about the Inception, there's a moment in here where you kind of know that some deeper stuff is going to happen, which is they find out that if they die in Inception, it's not like in a regular dream hack or whatever you want to call it. Like they die in real life because there's so many layers. Their mind goes into limbo, and it becomes mush essentially. So what I'm getting at is all the smooth brains out here. We actually have gone through this. And we're survivors, and you know what? I'm glad we're here. We're here to talk about it. So
that's what
you
happened.
got in dream limbo.
You went to dream limbo, and that's why you have smooth brain.
That's it.
And that's why you want to sleep so much, is because you've been to limbo and you want to get back.
You guys get it.
That's your reality.
Making sense. It's making sense.
He's waiting for the train.
Yep, I'm just waiting for the train.
Oh man.
So, yeah. So. At this same moment, we realized the wife got stuck in limbo, and that became her reality. And this is where
she decided to forget because of the totems. She decided to forget because she liked that world so much, being with her husband.
Yep.
That she forgot.
Yeah. So they get stuck in the limbo, and we then get the first layer of finding out what happened between her and him, the husband and the wife, which is she lost her perception of what truly was reality. And she created this scenario where she says, I wrote a letter that, essentially said you were threatening to kill me. And so that's why the family back home thinks that he killed her because, she was creating this false reality set him up. This is the one of two errors that I caught myself and confirmed with X-Ray.
Oh,
shout out to Amazon. In this scene, when he's first confronting Mao, if you look, you can see a finger through the sheer curtain.
You can? I've never seen this.
You'll have to go back and look at it. Just look like Google like Inception, like finger in curtain or whatever, and you'll be able to see it.
No way.
So that was the first one. That was the first one that I caught. So after this, we we find out that she had created the letter and was threatening to, essentially came up with this plot. And then it goes a layer deeper. And this is where he starts saying, like, he's talking with Fisher and he's like, listen, I was, part of the security that was trained, like your brain, I'm part of like that security. If anyone's trying to like, not expedite, but like extract information from your brain, like I'm the security that steps in. So I want to know if we can start a new business called subconscious security.
That would be awesome.
I think it'd be really cool.
That'd
and
be
we
great.
probably could make at least $5.
Let's do it.
And be like, yeah, just be like, hey,
what is our business? What's our model?
We say, hey, we're gonna put you to sleep, and then we're gonna train you, and then
That's a different type of business.
This is I think it's illegal
Putting people to
in
sleep.
like 30 states of the United States at least.
This is no.
Really?
This is
That's
a solid business plan. I've been working on it all day.
It went from Inception to Soylent Green real quick.
Oh gosh. All right, so this is the second line. I think this line is my favorite part. My favorite line from the movie. So, Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Elliot Page are sitting on the bench, and they're like, "Oh, people are starting to look or whatever." He's like, "Quick, give me a kiss," and she's like, "Oh, they're still looking." He's like, "Yeah, but it was worth a shot."
Oh yeah,
That's funny. I mean, because like I didn't see that coming, and so it, like, subdued my expectations. That was pretty fun.
I thought that was great. I laugh at that every time. But I thought
it was clever.
I thought your quote, your favorite quote, was going to be a little bit earlier when they're in the dream above. They've pretended to kidnap him, or they've kidnapped him, and they're like, "Hey, we're holding you and your uncle ransom, and you got to tell us like what's the number for the safe that has all the information in it," and blah 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 blah. And they're tricking him, telling him, like, getting him to like subconsciously get all these numbers in his head, so that when they go deeper down, they can actually manipulate him with those numbers and the answers that he gives, which is awesome. But like they're like standing out, and they see that the one guy got hit, and they're putting him in the truck or in the van, and everybody's like getting up, and Arthur goes, and he's got his little like M16, he's like shooting and like taking guys out, and Tom Hardy comes over and he's like, "Don't be afraid to dream a little bit bigger, darling," and he like shoots.
Oh yeah, and he shoots the grenade launcher.
That's like my favorite. That's my favorite line. I'm like, every time.
That is funny.
I love it.
But no, I did chuckle at that one, but no, the other one I thought it
quick
was
kiss me. Why did we do
it
that?
was just
It was
it was like so quick. It was so funny.
Yeah, it's great. Sorry, continue on.
No, that's okay. So then, it kind of cuts back and forth between all of these different dreams at this point, because the next scene, it shows the chemist being chased, and we've cut back to this a few times, but then the van rolls. And this is something that I hate about movies.
Yes, this is a huge error in my opinion.
The van rolls, it becomes completely smashed. They roll down a rocky embankment, and then it just drives off.
Just drive off. And faster than the other cars too.
Faster, yeah.
And that wasn't considered a kick. And the only thing in my brain, like watching it this time, because when I first, the first few ever times when I saw it, I was like, yeah, that should have been a kick.
Yeah.
They're rolling sideways. They're not rolling backwards. They're not falling back. And so that's my only like, okay, this is a saving grace, because they're falling backwards and they hit, and that's the kick that wakes them up. But why would a roll not wake them up? Because that's a pretty big kick.
So that's what I'm thinking. But there was a moment when they were talking about kicks where they actually shoved Joseph Gordon-Levitt to the side and he woke up.
That's right. Right.
So don't mean to brag, but got you on that one.
Yeah, you did. Good job, Colton.
But
smooth brain.
To me, that kind of knocked some points for me, because I'm like, that's a big, especially because they slowed it down too.
Yeah.
Like, you would have thought that someone was gonna wake up from that.
Yeah.
And then the guy was like, "Hey, did you see that?" And then
no.
everyone's still asleep. Like that. I don't know. I feel like, and I could be completely wrong about this, but they originally had a version where like maybe something like someone woke up and they couldn't figure out how to like
get it
make
back
it
down in
fit.
there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so that to me, that's my theory on it, but that took some points off for me because I
Yeah.
thought that was
I
too
had a-
big of like a
I had a similar like not really like a error with it or whatever, but
Mhm.
something that always sticks out to me is how like, you know, the deeper you go, the more like the amount of time it feels like
Yeah.
multiplies.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the thing that gets me is when they're doing like the Mr. Charles kind of scam, well, not scam, but like the routine. And
Right.
he's like, oh, notice the weird weather. And then you just get like a barrage of rain.
Uh-huh.
And then the gravity shifts so suddenly. It's like, wait, so up there, like, so down here, their day is a week.
Right.
So I'm like, wouldn't those changes
Yeah.
happen a lot slower, like over
Right.
time?
Yeah.
You know, like it
Yeah.
wouldn't be that fast.
But it wouldn't be as cool of a movie if you didn't have that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh no, I get that.
You're right.
Like,
Right.
and I'm fine with it after I take that into account. But when I watch it every time, like I still think of it as
That
like,
timing. Yeah.
well, in the logic. But then, you
Yeah.
know, I also get that it wouldn't be as effective if
Right.
it didn't. So
And I think this is where like this once again it knocks some points for me because like you take so long to set up all of this information, and then to me it feels like they don't follow the information.
Right. They're
You
not
know, so-
following the rules that they're
Right.
putting in place.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the hardest thing with like with movies like this that do have a very strict concept and very strict rules.
yeah.
Is like
And it's a very
you
new
don't leave your-
idea.
yeah, it kind of gets hard when there's not a lot of room to play with sometimes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
having to, you know, because it's like I want to do this, but then it's like, well, do I do that? Like, is it worth breaking these rules I just made?
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is.
Yeah. Now, what is cool is right around this time is the rolling hallway.
Yeah. Best
Scene.
Oh,
scene
yeah.
in the movie.
That's
One of the
so
best scenes.
cool.
Oh, it's so
That
cool.
is so neat. I mean, like that to me. And do you know that Joseph Gordon-Levitt did all of his own stunts for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except one. I think it was like except one. But yeah, he did all of his own. That's neat.
That's major
reminded me-
props.
It
More
reminded
points.
me of your favorite movie, Colton.
What, Forrest Gump?
No, 2001.
No,
Space Odyssey.
2001,
Oh god.
where they had the giant rotating set for the space station. It's same concept.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, Colton gets to
Colton-
This
relive
movie
his
was at
favorite
least
movie.
enjoyable to watch.
Oh,
It wasn't like,
Oh.
you know, 2001 is Space
Colton,
Odyssey.
Colton, I just have to say that every single time that we do one of these podcasts, 2001
Mhm.
always ends up coming back up. I don't know why.
Yeah, because I keep
think it
talking
needs-
about how trash of a movie it is.
No.
I didn't have
Agree to
Abe
disagree.
screaming at me for 3 minutes at the very start of this.
Colton, I thought of you this
Gina's
weekend
has still not
too.
forgiven me for trying to make her watch that.
Did she watch it? I forget. Did she watch it?
She for the first few episodes she did start to watch them, but she's like and she did watch Singing in the Rain, but like all of these she's like, I mean, she wants to watch a Hallmark movie. She wants like Encanto, like she wants something, you know, fun.
Yeah.
She, like
Oh.
to her, she logs off. She's done.
Yeah, Colton, I thought of you this weekend
Okay.
because I actually watched 2 movies for fun this weekend, which was great.
Surprise,
And,
surprise.
yeah.
And one of them, I rewatched Everything Everywhere All at Once because it had won Best Picture and a ton of other stuff last week at the Oscars. But anyway, there was a scene that made me think of you because they were introducing that one of like the multiverse universes was a world where everyone had hot dog fingers. I don't know if you've seen anything about this movie, but it's like
No.
their fingers, like from here up, is just like a hot dog that is flesh color. And so it's talking about like how
Ew.
they evolved from that. And so they show a clip and it is these apes a la 2001 in a desert. And they have these
Oh,
hot dog
gosh.
fingers and the other apes just have normal fingers and they're like slapping them in the face.
Oh,
And
God.
it made me think of Colton because I was like, yes, his favorite
Wow.
movie being referenced. It's the best thing ever.
Have you guys seen the show The Good Place?
Yeah,
I've seen
I
some
know
of
of
it.
it, but I haven't watched it.
Okay, The Good Place is so funny. That sounds like something that would come off of like The Good Place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think Colton, you just need to change your mind about the greatness of
No.
2001: Space Odyssey.
Nope, not gonna do it.
Maybe
It's
we'll
okay.
rewatch
You
it
don't have
later
to.
and appreciate it.
So
Nope,
I
probably
was
not.
thinking like if we could get enough people to vote on watching 2001: Space Odyssey again, we should do that. We should do that. That would be great.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Here's when I'll watch 2000. I will do a
Live stream.
live stream of me
Yes.
watching 2001: A Space Odyssey. If we can get, I don't know, 1,000 people listening per episode, I will do
Okay.
a live stream and I'll watch it
Okay.
again.
All right. Well, we're gonna do that. We're gonna release this as a short, and we're gonna get thousands of people to watch and thousands of people to
That
start
movie is
listening.
trash. Anyways, all right. Sorry,
Boo.
we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
Okay.
Bad
Moving on.
take.
All right, let's move on to the error movie that this is, because once again, X-ray pops up.
Man,
Would you
He's
rather?
coming
Would
for
you rather? Would
everybody.
you rather an error movie or a 2001: Space Odyssey movie?
An error movie.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 an error movie. 10 times out of 10 I'd watch an error movie over this. So they go 4 levels deeper, right? They're in the final. They're in the final. People listening, I'm doing air quotes because it's not the true final, but the final layer. And I want to know, first of all, they're just in like a snow like layer thing, like,
Well, that's what he said too. Couldn't someone dream of a beach somewhere?
yeah, exactly.
I love
like
that.
what
I love that.
who set this up? Like like this is like some like military base thing. Like this is so
well, this
random.
is the subconscious, isn't it?
This
This is like where this is supposed to be like his vault, his
Yes,
fortress where he
yes,
keeps his info.
and that's
Yeah.
exactly why you have all the military and he's had training as well
right.
against this kind of stuff. So
Right. So this is, but so you know when the avalanche starts, if you watch when they first cut to the avalanche, you can see the smoke, the black smoke above from where they set the charges off for the avalanche.
Oh wow.
And so this is one of the ones that I caught myself because I'm like, it's very clear, you can see it, it's, so I was like, but,
I noticed that as well.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice it.
Yeah. All right. So we around this time they go into another layer because Fisher has been shot. They're trying to revive him. And was it Adriana? No, what was it?
Ariadne.
What a name.
Ariadne says, if we go even deeper, we have more time. So they go deeper into the guy Leonardo's character, like they go deeper into his brain or his dream, his subconscious, whatever. We learn at this point that he planted the Inception idea in her mind,
that it wasn't reality.
that it
And
wasn't
this is
reality.
all fake. There's no reality. Whatever this reality
Exactly.
is false.
And he admits that he planted this idea, and it was because of him that he psychologically killed his wife.
Right.
And that's the true reason why he can't let go, is because he, even though she, committed suicide by jumping off the balcony in, reality, that he actually planted this idea in her mind with the train. And that's why the train is so significant and everything like that in this movie.
Yeah.
Which is not the layer that I was expecting. I was like, wow, at this point, I'm like, okay, Inception. Got
Yeah.
it. Like it goes that deep.
Yeah.
So, really interesting. So they, they end up killing her. He comes back. Or all the other crew members of, the heist or Inception, whatever you want to call it, they start coming back. And what I want to know, and Caleb, you might be able to answer this, and Seth, you might be able to answer this. How did they shoot the van falling? Because, you know, the van when they backs up and he goes off the bridge and it's like 40 minutes of this thing just falling. It had to be like a very high speed camera.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's just a high speed camera that just you get 5 or 6 seconds of film and then you just slow it way down so it's 40 minutes long.
Yeah, but it's got to be like
it's crazy
because I've heard of some cameras, and I remember there was this YouTube channel. I'm trying to think of their name, but they use one, but it's like a phantom camera or something like that. But it's like 8,000 frames a second or some crazy number like that. Like they had to have done something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, there are cameras that have more, even more. And it's like your shutter speed is at just a million. It's just crazy.
It's so wild.
But yeah, and then they have the camera inside and they have the camera out. And so then you're getting, 2 angles of it. Obviously, the actors and the people in the car, they're not in the wide shot where it's where it's going over. But then they do the in studio slow motion where the water comes right when the eyes open up. I love that. I love that shot.
Yeah, it was funny because like I have my scuba certifications, and so I was like, oh, they're scuba diving. A little different, but it was a fun moment for me.
Yeah.
All right. So there was one of the scenes where Uncle Peter, who is Eames, comes out of the water.
Yeah.
I love this transition. It's so good.
Seamless. It is seamless.
It's seamless.
It is seamless.
Okay, so like when he comes out of the water and sits down next to him and the camera like tilts and rotates and stuff. Oh, it's so good. It like that to me, I was like, that was the perfect way to do that. It also reminds me of a Disney ride.
Oh,
should I talk about it?
Yeah.
I think
I want to know what it is.
All right. Journey into your imagination with Figment. Okay. There is a moment where you're going through the ride. Also, shout out to the real ones who love Figment. But
yes.
So you're going through the ride, and it's essentially this effect, Caleb. I'm going to make you watch it now.
Oh, no.
It's this effect with a butterfly. So as you're coming up to it, you see a butterfly swinging in a cage, right? But as you go past it, they have a mirror set up so you don't see the other half of the butterfly when you go past it. It's really cool. It reminded me of this, and I was like, that.
Yeah. So there's like the
awesome.
mirror and then half of a butterfly. So you come in from this side, and then when you pass it, it's a mirror. So you just see the back of the cage.
Oh,
yeah.
And there's no butterfly.
It's
magic.
Really cool.
It
is.
Neat. All I'm saying is Disney came up with it. All right. So the next question, we're kind of getting towards the end here. And I mean, this is pretty much the end, really. So one of the questions I want to ask you guys is, do you think spinning top, like dreidel, whatever you want to call them, like the spinning top market quadrupled after this movie?
Definitely became more popular.
Oh,
you saw
100%.
this everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere parodied this.
Well, you know what's funny is like after I watched the movie, I like started Googling, and people get rings that are like based, like wedding rings that are based off of this movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because like what they're saying is like through all levels of subconscious or whatever, like I will,
love you
to that point, whatever because like 14-year-olds say,
Yeah.
But anyways, I had to have it had to have affected that market somehow.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
But what's interesting? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think this is a good point. What would your totem be?
So, okay, I want to talk about the totem real quick because why do I keep forgetting her name? Ariadne?
Yes.
Like I said, just call her
Ariadne.
Ari, yeah. She makes her totem, and that is like a significant point in the beginning is like, no, I'm not going to let you touch my totem. Like it's a chess piece, all that. Doesn't come up ever again.
Never see it again. Yep. Never see it again because it's showing the importance of his totem for the end. That's it.
But
that's it.
So to me, I wondered if this was like and I don't know the answer to this, so don't make fun of me. Is there a sequel to this movie?
No.
No.
Okay. So I didn't know if like maybe it was something left for like the sequel, you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
if that was going to come to be, it does leave it open.
Yeah.
You know, if there's an Inception part 2 and they just call it Ception,
Outception.
Outception, Deception.
That's part 3, the trilogy.
Oh, guys, we're on to something.
Inception, Outception, Deception.
Inception 2, still dreaming.
Yes.
Outception, Inception 3. Not sure where we're at anymore.
Like, yeah, I
Okay.
wonder if
Keeping
if
the dream
showing her
going.
totem is because like she's kind of the audience surrogate. So like
Yeah.
we're learning about this whole
Oh,
world and this
sure.
whole process through her. So I think it's more of like her making her totem is like that's how we introduce what a totem is, maybe. So
Also- Also,
more of,
the
like,
whole
explaining
the whole
rules.
idea is that you're not supposed to let anybody else know what your totem is or see what it is. And so
Mhm.
even us, because yes, she's like the audience
I
surrogate.
thought they could see it, but I thought they couldn't like hold it.
You'd never give it up. You never give it up. So like
Yeah.
they're like, you don't even see what it is. Like you don't see
Okay.
Arthur's. You never see Arthur's.
Yeah.
He talks about
Well,
one at one point.
you see Joseph Gordon-Levitt's because it's the die, and he's like it's
Oh,
a
that's right.
loaded die.
You're
but
right,
it
you're
lets
right.
you
The
hold
die.
it.
It's a weighted
lied.
die.
So I think
yeah.
I lied.
Yeah.
So you see Arthur's, Ari's, and then Leonardo DiCaprio. Why can't I think of his name right now? But you see the three
Cobb?
of theirs.
Is it Cobb?
Cobb. Yes, it's Cobb.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Cobb, Arthur, and Ari. You see the three of them because those are the three main characters too that we're like following on.
Yeah.
But we never see anybody use theirs except for when Ari is setting hers up. She like knocks it over. What does that mean? Like that it only
Yeah.
falls
Well, I
one
mean,
way
you
or
see
something?
Leonardo's character use it throughout.
And that's the only one. That's the only
But that's
one.
what I'm saying. Like to me, it would have been like closing that loop.
Yep.
Of like, she needed to use it at some point.
It would have been nice.
Yeah.
I think that would have been really nice to see her use it at one point.
Yeah.
But they want to keep it up to interpretation.
Sure.
The whole ending and everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to it, what would your totem be? Seth, what would yours be?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't think about it. I
I don't know.
I feel
I was
like
caught off guard too. I don't know. What
I feel like
mine
it
would
could be anything because like I'm always like fidgeting with stuff in my hands or like with my pockets or whatever. Always like right now at work on my desk, I have this really long rubber band. And I guess if I were to use that, it's got like a spot in it that's like since I've like stretched it and played with it, it's like a little
Yeah.
thinner at one spot. So I'd probably just like rub my hands around it. And if there's a spot that's thinner, like that would probably be my totem. So I'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, this is mine.
All I can picture is like Seth sitting at a desk one day and he's just rubbing through this rubber band and he like the spot's not there and he just looks up
Yeah.
And then
and
water.
his like mind just shatters and water
Water just blows through the window.
It's like if someone screws up at Office Max one day, forget it.
Yeah, really.
The world's ending.
The world just like folds in on itself.
Yeah. Well, it is flat, so I mean, you could do that. Anyways,
Okay.
but
Wrong.
but
Allegedly.
this is actually it's funny. It's funny that I say this because this is something that I thought about. If you think about like the spinning top and everything like that, do you think people saw this and were like, I need a totem because I need to know that like this is like reality sometimes? And do you think this kind of amplified conspiracy theories? Because I can see a world, and it's probably the one we're living in, where
It's a
people are
simulation.
like, yeah, it's like a simulation, or like, is this reality? And you know, yada yada.
The thing is that you would have to know that you're not in the simulation to make that so that you know when you're not in the simulation. If you're
Yeah,
making
make
it
it-
right now, we're already
If you make it in the
simulations.
simulation, then it's like pointless.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Because you have no
completely pointless.
control.
Yeah,
Like there's
exactly.
no control to base it off of.
Right.
But
Right.
what if someone planted the idea
Oh, there
for
you go.
me to make one?
Whoa. I
and
feel like
I
now we're
have
kind of
it
getting
in
into
my
the Matrix
reality?
a little
I
bit.
know. I was gonna say Matrix. Have you
Like-
seen Matrix yet?
No.
We got to watch that one at some point.
Okay, that's on the list.
So,
man. The first
all
one,
right,
at
anyways.
least. At least the first
But
one.
I wanted to bring that up because I can see a world where like people saw this and they were like, okay, I need something to, you know, ground me or whatever. And they like went out and found some totem or something like that. But to answer your question, my totem, I think it would be like a pen of some sort.
That would have been mine too.
Yeah, I think it would have been like a pen because like I have very specific pens that I like because of the weight and, you know, whatever else, you know, the writing style, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So like I would know that like this is, you know, the pen is mine.
Yeah.
I think.
That probably mine would be the same. Like it would be a pen that writes blue and then writes red upside down or something. Like every time that you write upside down, it's a different color or something.
Fancy. What kind of book fair did you have growing up?
I've never been to a book fair. So, but anyway,
this would be in the dream though. So
right.
anything could
Yeah, in the
that's
dream.
true.
Exactly. In the
That's
dream.
true.
That's what it would
So
be.
in real life, it would probably just write the same color.
Yes, exactly. It
Or
would
unless
always
you
be
have the
blue or
pen
black.
from Seinfeld, that episode,
the space pen.
it probably wouldn't write upside down.
So my question is, all of you out there, what would your totem be? Leave it in the comments. Let us know. And then continue on, Colton. What's next?
All right. There's another error.
Oh no, not again.
This has been
This
like
is-
the error episode.
No,
I know.
hold on.
Continuity issues.
This is the one that I picked up. This is one of the two that I picked up myself. And I was like, okay, this is egregious is a strong word, but like this is one that I noticed myself. It's when he goes back, right? And he goes back to see the kids. When he
Finally
initially
see 'em.
says hi to the children, it's the daughter that he picks up. They cut away, cut back, and it's the son.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't believe that that's what you're focused on at that point.
Really?
Hold on.
and
This is
literally,
right
it's like
before
the big cliffhanger.
This is right before it shows the top still spinning.
Yeah.
So I've got to know because I've been trying to figure it out all day. What layer is he in?
Is he in a layer?
Yeah.
Is this finally reality or is this a layer?
Is it real or is it a fantasy?
What do you think? What do you think, Colton? I'm really curious. What do you think? Because I have a definitive answer.
I think it's a layer. And when we say layer, we mean dream.
Right.
But I think it's a layer. I don't know which one though. And that's what's difficult for me. I don't know.
Okay. So here's the definitive answer.
Okay.
Although there
are we sure? Are we sure this is like
this is from
100%?
This is from the director. The
You talked to him?
Yeah, I hung out with him. We got some beers and totally hung out. Not that's how you know it's a lie. But anyway, I would love to hang out with him. He's a freaking awesome guy and his like thought. Anyway, so anytime that Michael Caine is on screen, who is the father-in-law of Leonardo DiCaprio, anytime that he is on screen, it means that it's not a dream. So anytime that he's on screen, it's not a dream. And when he's off, it's up in the air. Like, is this a dream? Is this reality? Whatever. So the end scene, he picks him up from the airport and brings him home to see his kids. So he's really awake at that point. He is not asleep.
Yeah.
So
then why is the top still spinning?
because they
Because
cut
they
it
want you to
early.
question everything.
Yeah, they want you to question it. They
That's
want
so
you to question it.
Dumb. It like it's
No,
so stupid.
You thought
No,
how long have you
it's-
thought about it? How
it's
long have you thought about it?
stupid, But now you've ruined it for me
I'm
because
so
it's so stupid. Because you set up this whole movie. I'm taking 5 points off.
No.
Yes, because
No.
it's so stupid. You spent the whole movie talking about this top quadrupled sales all across the nation, right? And all of a sudden, we're just gonna break the rules at the end.
Okay.
No, you're not breaking the rules.
If you had
Oh.
your way, Colton, what would you have? You would rather him not be with his children and cleared of the charges?
No,
What would
I
you-
think, yeah. What, you want a man not to be with his kids? No, what I'm saying is I would have much rather it be a dream where it was something that like I didn't catch where like, oh, at this moment he went from being in, you know, this dream, he went back a layer, and that's where he's at now.
Yeah.
Because that's what I truly thought. I truly thought that at some point he did the Inception, he went down 5 layers deep or whatever, and maybe he's back in layer 2, and that's where he's staying, and I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
So that's where,
and that's what
they
wake
I'm
up.
like,
that's what they wanted it to be. That's what Christopher Nolan wanted you to think about. Think about that. Like those are the things that he wants you to contemplate and think about. And what does it mean? And does it matter if he's happy?
he got his paycheck. He doesn't care about us
and
anymore.
you're questioning your reality, just like they do in the movie,
Which
just
is
like
great.
Maul.
So
like,
listen. So there were some fantastic conspiracy theories before this definitive answer came out.
Anyone in the audio version didn't see that, but I just dropped a thing of whiteout to make sure it fell.
Make sure you're not dreaming.
Yeah. Well, now we know your totem.
Perpetual.
My totem is a thing of Bic whiteout.
if we're the dreamer, we'll just make it float.
Yeah,
that's right. You won't know.
Oh.
We'll gaslight you.
There you go. Gaslight. But anyway, so there were some great conspiracy theories back in the day when it first came out, before this answer came out, and it was when he first meets the chemist and he goes under the first time, and then he wakes up and he tries to do his totem, but he can't do it, and he's interrupted from checking. They were like, from that point on, it's a dream.
See, and
here's
would
all
make
the reasons
way
why.
more sense to me.
So what they say is he went under and he never came back out. Like he stayed under. So he's like essentially catatonic in that guy's lawn chair. That was the movie of him testing out that new drug that the guy had.
Yeah, because he said, like, let me see what you've got.
Right.
And like that was it.
And then it was a dream then on.
See, that would make way more sense to me.
He got the idea of how to do Inception. He got the how he would do it, you know, how they would have a success and how he could see his children again and stuff. But that was like, but the whole thing was like, he never saw his kid's face. He would never look at his kid's face, because if he saw them, then he would want to stay in that dream, that layer or whatever. And so that's why he always looked away. And so then at the end, when you saw his kids and the music is swelling, and that's something we haven't even talked about, the music, holy moly, it's so powerful and it's so good. It doesn't, to me, like this movie, there's only a handful of others, and they're almost all Hans Zimmer, the composer. They hit so different. Like it hits different, where you're like, wow, that music right here, perfect sense. Makes perfect sense for this moment. Like the emotion that is driven in the music is 100% on the screen as well.
I agree. I really like when they play Crazy Frog. That was probably
No, I love it. The instruments,
it was really
the timing.
Good, yeah.
Oh, it's just, he's so good. Hans Zimmer is brilliant. And when they get together, like it is such a beautiful, marriage of.
Does he have a brother named Franz?
And they're going to pomp.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you. Yes. I'm so glad someone caught that. Thank you so much.
That's a Saturday Night Live thing, right?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice job.
All right. So overall,
we've reached the end.
Yeah.
That's it.
Score?
We don't know.
Are we going to do the score? Is there anything else you want to cover? Like how awesome it was?
I want to say that
it's a great movie.
Even though I pointed out a lot of errors, I'm not going to watch it with that anymore, because it did affect my perception of the movie at the beginning, and when I turned it off, it was way different.
At what point did you turn it off?
Let me go back. I think it was right after the helicopter scene where they come off of the hotel and they land at the airport. I turned it off. And they see their
friend getting pulled away.
Now I did every once in a while I turn it back on, and if I saw error, I like automatically closed it off, because I was like it's anyways. So no, even though there were, errors, this movie was great. I think that there were some things that, like, truly when I'm watching it, it kind of put me off a little bit. Like we talked about the van rolling and just driving away. Like
Yeah.
that one's too hard to swallow. And the other one is the top at the end. Like the top at the end is, for me, it, like, I truly, your explanation of like, no, he's in reality, right? Like that, for me, I'm like, I would have been much happier knowing that it was like another layer of a dream. Because
This guy just went through. He completely confronted his subconscious, his guilt, the whole thing with Mal. He's finally gotten over it, where he can move on with his life. He's finally able to like break through everything and go see his children again. Like he found the answer, and you don't want that to be the ending. Like, how heartless
I
are no,
still want all of that. Like all of that can still happen within one of the layers of the dream. But like,
but is dream a reality then? Like, do you see those dreams as reality?
well, I'll tell you what, when I take that melatonin at night, it's a reality, baby.
Listen.
You're like those old men in the basement.
Right now, you are being Mal. You are being Mal. You want to be in the dream world instead of being in reality.
Heck yeah, it's 8:15 at night. You're lucky.
Can I just
say you're still awake?
Can I just say that I'm thankful that Caleb told us that definitive answer, because I'll never watch it the same way again now that I know that Christopher Nolan.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh man, I wish.
Because I mean, I always
assumed
assumed that it was reality, but now that I know that Michael Caine is Christopher Nolan's totem,
yeah, 100%, 100%.
Like I'm gonna watch that the whole time.
Yeah, when you think about it like that, that is funny.
Yeah,
that's really funny, dude. That's funny.
Christopher Nolan wakes up and he's like, "Where's Michael Caine?"
He's like, Michael, and he starts calling him in.
He's in almost every single one of.
That's why he's in all those movies.
Yeah,
he's like, I gotta keep grounded.
That's right. That's amazing.
That's funny.
Oh man.
All right, so I'm gonna give it a score. Once again, there was just some errors that I couldn't look past. All of the other small ones I'm completely fine with. So I'm gonna give this a 90.
Oh, okay.
That's still pretty good, though.
That's a good score.
I thought about putting it in the 80s, but 90, I really like the story behind it. I had a perception that it was going to be very difficult to follow. At times it was, but like the questions that I had would always be answered relatively quickly. And so I like that. So overall, I think it was a very good movie.
Yay!
But yeah. So 90.
Rewatching it, like I forgot how well it like walks you through the concept.
Yeah.
Like,
and then breaks those rules, but
yeah,
but it does walk you through
them
and shatters those rules.
Like how you have the first kind of like dream heist to kind of like set up the rules and introduce you to everything like pretty quickly.
Multi-layered
you
dreams.
You get the audience surrogate and Ariadne, and like you go through it again, but on a bigger scale.
Surrogate is such a funny term to me for some reason.
There's audience. There's the Christopher Nolan surrogate.
Yeah,
totem, right?
Everyone's got a surrogate, is what we're looking at.
You got a surrogate or a totem.
That's right. Interchangeable. So I have a fun fact. So this movie came out in, what was it, 2010?
2010.
Have you guys ever heard of DuckTales?
Oh, woohoo.
Did. So there was a comic strip way back when. I want to say probably pre-80s. Of them doing
so like
this.
when you were born?
No.
So was it?
And it was the bad guys, the bad dogs, the three bad guys.
The Beagle Boys.
The Beagle Boys made Uncle Scrooge. He slept, and they went into his dreams so that they could get the vault number to open up his vault and steal his money. Huey, Dewey, and Louie had to go into the dreams as well and save their uncle. So So a rumor online started that they were like, "Oh my gosh, DuckTales did this," or whatever, and they were like, "No, no, no, no!" And they every time that the strip would come up, it would get taken down. They were trying to silence it. That they
Oh,
did
no.
it first.
So
Well,
You know
like,
what? This is true. The big media out here trying to silence Disney. You know,
can I?
like,
Yeah, really.
yeah, like
Oh
Can
my
I?
Disney,
Can I just point
a
something
small
out?
indie company,
Yeah, right.
trying to make a fun cartoon, and here's the woke media
Christopher Nolan
Oh Lord.
trying to silence.
him and
Wow.
Michael Caine just out
Yeah.
there trying to silence everyone.
Can I just point out that this is the second time on this podcast we've
Oh,
mentioned that a part or an idea of a movie has been inspired by Scrooge McDuck
Oh yeah.
because
What was the other one?
The
the Temple
original
of
Temple
Doom,
Run
yeah.
in Indiana Jones, the
Yeah.
original like the Temple Run was inspired by Scrooge McDuck comics.
That's
Golly.
amazing.
It all
I
comes
think-
full circle.
I think I even said something. Isn't it? Oh, dude.
Is Scrooge McDuck the Simpsons of movies?
Ooh, that's
Maybe.
that's
or
interesting.
they just draw a lot of inspiration.
No, Seth.
They
Scrooge McDuck is the
Scrooge McDuck is the Simpsons.
So
Scrooge
no,
McDuck
it would
is
be
all of
more
our totems.
Yes.
No, so
right.
so Scrooge McDuck is the Simpsons.
He's Cobb.
And Christopher Nolan is Family Guy.
Oh, there
and
you
they
go.
Steal the
Ah,
ideas.
There you go. I get
from
yeah.
them.
There you
That's
go.
a good one.
Awesome.
You made it.
Awesome. Well, 90, so highly recommended.
90.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend Inception.
Still an A.
Awesome. There
Yep.
has only been one movie that you haven't recommended yet that you wouldn't recommend to watch.
Yep.
Yeah.
It shall
Aw.
not be named because we've already named it 20 times on this podcast. So should we do
2001: A Space Odyssey. The movie is trash.
Dude, we gotta we should do like a super
Bad
cut
take.
of you saying that stuff. But
So
anyway, all right. So
All right.
Seth, do you want to give your recommendation?
Sure.
Do you
Okay.
have them ready this time, Seth?
Yes, I
It would
do.
be- I didn't have
I
them ready
was-
last time.
Funny thing about that, I was really lazy about it because I was like, well, I always have a hard time picking. And so,
Yeah.
of course, with the Oscars
Right.
last week, I said, okay, whoever wins Best Animated Feature and Best Picture are going to be my picks.
Okay.
So your
Got it.
choices are
All right.
Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio won Best Animated Feature.
Okay.
I don't think
Or-
that you want to watch that with Gina.
Yeah, it's very dark.
Oh, so it's not like actual
It's not like
Pinocchio
no,
story.
no.
Well, it's a different take on it. That's very dark.
Okay.
Or Best Picture, which I'm hoping you pick, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I just like the name of that movie.
I have yet
It's
to
just
see that
good.
one, but I think that it's also a very Inception-y type of sci-fi movie.
It's very
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, cool.
All right.
So
All right.
mine are Inside Out, because I can't believe you haven't seen that yet. It is so good. Inside Out animation, Pixar, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Like peak Pixar, so good. And this is a good one. It goes alongside with Airplane, Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
dude, it's a dude, bro. It's so good.
You know,
Okay.
we picked some, which I know both of you have not seen Everything Everywhere. We picked some Buck Wild movies this
Yes, we
week.
have.
Because
We
Everything
really have.
Everywhere is one of the weirdest movies out there. It's
Yeah.
crazy that this Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is
Yep.
probably one of the more serious movies
Yes,
this
I know.
week.
Well, I know that I've had some conversations with Colton, and we've had conversations here, and I kind of want to lighten it up a little bit, I guess, just a little
Yeah.
bit, just a little bit.
Golly.
But
All right. Okay. Is the Pinocchio one like horror?
No, it's just a lot darker.
Okay, but
It's
like
not horror.
like color wise, or like is it horror?
Both
I think it would
themes.
be both.
It touches on like darker themes, like mortality and fascism, and like
Oh, here we
family
go
and
again.
grief.
Gotta get political.
It's not. That's what it talks about because it
Okay.
takes place in like 1930s Italy.
All right. I've made my choice.
Okay.
Okay.
I am going with Inside Out.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm going with Inside Out because
Sweet.
I think this is the first Pixar
Yeah.
Yes.
movie.
Yep.
Animated, and I know Gina has seen Inside Out and I have
Oh.
not.
Oh.
So it'll be fun to watch it with her.
Yes.
To like get her reaction, because she'll probably be like hitting me like, write that down. So
That's awesome.
all right, Inside Out. That's
awesome.
That's what we're
Yes.
going.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Awesome. All right. Thank you everybody for joining us. Next week, or hopefully next week, we're gonna watch Inside Out. Don't forget to subscribe, check us out everywhere except for Instagram.
Except for
So
Instagram, we
TikTok,
still don't have it back.
TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Watch us, check us out. You can see us on or hear us on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you listen to podcasts, and then you can watch us on YouTube. And don't forget to give your recommendations for the next episode, and we'll try to throw them in. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys.
Thanks. Bye.